Hey guys, welcome back to the channel Pete's Carport, and welcome back to another video on our BMW 318i 1991 e30. It's a pretty fun car. We've started to do some things to it. It's going to be a straight drift car, so basically 99% of the time this thing is going to be a track car, but I do want to make it road ready so I can test it out before taking it to the track, have a little bit of fun going up and down back roads. And I also want to do some slight engine modifications. Oh, before we get started, I wanted to show you guys, I was able to take the tarp from the carport that basically got destroyed during that storm. The tarp was fine. It has a little bit of stress here, but the rest of it was great. And all I had to do was mount some anchors into the cement over here, and then I used some tie downs to basically pull it. What that's going to do is give me now the full capability of being in the shade during the day and be able to work on these cars like I was doing before. So very exciting for me. As you can see, we're nice and shaded over here. It's going to make it much more comfortable. I mean, we're in the 80s and 90s already in Florida, and it can get really hot in the middle of the day. So this is going to be awesome. So here's our BMW. What we're going to be doing today is a series of modifications, starting with the simplest. If you haven't seen it, we already went ahead and put the exhaust on here. It's an HKS. We put 2.5-inch piping all the way down. And that's kind of the first part to doing this. Least expensive. It doesn't give you the most amount of horsepower or anything like that, but it does free up some of the flow, and any of the other modifications you do, it will help increase horsepower and throttle response. So what we're going to do today is the next step, which is airflow. So one of the biggest restrictions on this car as far as performance is the airbox is very restrictive, and there's a lot of little things you can do. You can make fun little air intakes, and what we're going to do is play around with making kind of a cold air intake. There's a company out there that makes a kit that's absolutely awesome. It's only $100 and something, and it mounts to the front, but we're going to kind of replicate something like that. I was doing some research, found a video that was quite old out there, and some kid did kind of like a similar thing to what we're going to do today, and I really like the way it looked, and I have my own style to what we're going to do. So let's go ahead. I've got the parts set up over here. I'm going to walk you through what we need to take off and what we're going to do, but I already had a filter that we're going to use today. Now that's going to change out, but I really want to use this to mock up. They make a shorter version of this. This is just the inexpensive Spectra filter that they sell at AutoZone. They make a shorter version, which is really cool, and that's what the guy used in the video I saw. And then also K&N makes a version that I think I want to go with. It's actually got like a whole front plastic that's black, because my idea was to actually paint this out black. And what this is going to do is it's going to be mounted right here, so we kind of have a ram air style system. And yeah, if you were going to be using this as a daily street car, you do want to be cautious not to get hydro locked by jamming water up through there. It's a little more difficult than a lot of people make it out to be, but there are ways around that, not mounting the actual filter up front and having a secondary filter. You could even probably screen this off a little bit to protect some of the rain from getting up in there. But ultimately, there's a long distance for that rain to get up in there, and that's not as likely as people really think it is. But we're going to take a little risk, and we're going to mount it there because this is not going to be a street car. In fact, I don't even have working windshield wipers, so when it rains, I'll probably be letting the rain pass by. So for me, this is definitely not an issue. What I did was I went ahead at AutoZone. They had this Spectra piping. Of course, Home Depot, you can pick up similar style piping for a lot less, but this only being 20 bucks, and I know it's going to fit exactly how we need it to. All right, guys, so I'm going to start by getting rid of all this box assembly right here, and what I want to do is take it off from where the mass airflow sensor box starts. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, unfortunately, I'm missing a ton of bolts and clips and stuff on mine. So while following along with me, being that I've never worked on this engine, I'm just going to go by what I see I need to remove. There may be other things you need to remove to pull your box out, but mine is basically just sitting here free-flowing. I've got a bolt right here that I'm pretty sure is going to hold in this box, but it's not there. So what I'm going to do is start by removing our clamp here using a flathead screwdriver. Our wire here that leads to our mass airflow sensor, I'm going to twist it off there and pull that apart so that that's freed up. And then from there, you'd obviously want to make sure your box is loose. Mine's already pretty much floating around. And I'm going to pull that apart there. So you can see that just came off like that. So that is now going to allow us to open up this box, which Mine has one clip on it. And allow me to open this up, and you're going to see your filter, which this one is pretty disgusting, but it does look like it might be a K&N. But that is very, very dirty. And you can see here the box basically allows the air to come in, flows through our mass airflow sensor and into the motor. Alright, so what we're going to do now is we're going to remove our mass airflow sensor, which is these 4 bolts right here. So I'm going to go ahead and take those off so that this will be separated from our box. Okay, so to remove our front headlight, we've got to remove the surrounding grille first, which, at least for me, is just Phillips heads right here. You've got 1, 2, maybe 3 there for you guys at home, but it looks like I only have 2. So let me go ahead and pull those 2 off. Alright guys, so after playing around with the original idea, which was to take this larger filter and be able to slide it down in there, I realized that was not going to happen. So I've come up with a good solution, and I'm actually blown away with the way it's going to fit, and it's going to fit completely different than what my original plan was, or even the plan when I just went to the store to pick it up. Let me explain something else. So there is a special adapter that needs to go to your mass airflow sensor, and the piece that I purchased does not fit on there. And I was originally going to just go on and order it, but I figured for now, let's go ahead and use what we already have. Keep this cost as low as possible, and let's go ahead and utilize our stock box. Now, from what I understood, the stock box was a very restrictive box, but this is not restrictive at all. It's actually not bad. The air flows right into the box and then gets sucked up, so it's not a bad system. Some of the other ones that I saw online had a bunch of channels the air had to go through, and it really blocked the airflow. So we're going to basically now utilize what we have. From there, what we're going to use is this Spectra hose. Now, I might cut out that part where I was showing you everything original I was going to use, but this is the Spectra hose that we got from Advanced Auto, and I'll put that down in the link. It came with 2 rubber adapters on each end. This is what I just went and picked up, which is the Spectra short air filter, and you can see way shorter than that one. Alright, now this one comes with a rubber adapter that basically kind of snaps into there this way, and then you'll see these sleeves allow you to go 3-inch, I think 3.5 and 4-inch, so it's kind of a universal sleeve. This is actually going to work to our benefit to fit into the car the way that I just came up with. So basically this is now going to mount to there, and I'm going to show you this is going to mount to our mass air. And let's come around front, where I've already went ahead and took out the light assembly, and what I did was just took out the entire, went ahead and lowered the hood. So I went ahead and took out the entire light assembly. There's 2 little plastic nuts on here that allow you to pull out the entire assembly. The awesome thing is this is now going to fit in there, and our plastic cover is going to fit over that. I can't wait to show you guys how that's going to look, because I've already mocked everything up, but I just wanted to go back and show you guys how this is going to be installed so you can kind of understand. Let me go ahead and put all this together, and I'll walk you through any of the issues I have and any of the suggestions I have for installing this if you guys like the way that this comes out. Alright, so at this point you can have it really clean by just hooking up your mass airflow sensor back here and then purchasing the adapter plate that goes there. And that will basically allow you to then adjust this hose to be right about there, and that's what you'd be looking at. Now, I don't have the adapter plate. I want to get this installed, so I'm going to clean my box up really well. I think I'm going to seal the box possibly. I'm going to see if I can find some clips to hold it closed because I'm missing every clip but I think one on that box. So I may seal that whole thing shut, hook everything back up. I'm going to clean that all down now, and then I'm going to show you guys how the final thing looks with everything back together, and then also how it sounds. So stay tuned. Okay guys, so this is kind of how it's going to look with the box lined up. Now you have a ton of extra hose here, so if you wanted to cut this you could. There's not much needed to get to the air filter in the front. I went ahead and cleaned down this with degreaser, but I believe it's just a clear coat that's kind of peeling up. So we'll probably go ahead and do a paint that, pull it all out and paint it. But right now I've got a like a silicone glue going in there, kind of act as a gasket as well as keep that box completely sealed, since I'm missing almost every single clip for it. So you might just be able to clip it all back together if you go this route. There's no filter in here. I pulled that out completely to have better airflow, and then just mounted my MAF right back up and everything back up the way it was. I'm going to go ahead and start it up, and then we'll walk around the front and start it up there, and we'll take a look at how it looks from the front with everything put back. Alright, so that's kind of the sound with the hood open. Let me go ahead and shut the hood and we'll walk around front. Alright, so here is the way it looks from the front. I think it looks absolutely insane. It really blew my mind when I mocked this up the first time. And I think it's going to look absolutely insane going down the road. Some of you guys might hate this. Some of you guys are going to love it. I think it kind of has that halo air intake look that Dodge went for with the Performance and like the Hellcat one. I wasn't trying to go for that. I was trying to go for just something custom, and it happened to work out that fit in there like that perfectly. Obviously we had to do some modification to get it in there, but I think it looks awesome. Last thing I'm going to do, let me go ahead and set up the camera so that you guys can hear the way it sounds from the front intake. And once again, my name's Pete. This is Pete's Carport. Always having fun, always doing interesting things. This is our 1991 BMW 318i drift car. It's an E30 model, and we just went ahead and modified our air intake to be a Ram Air cold intake. So kind of a neat, fun project. Very inexpensive, cost me about 50 bucks for everything. Have a wonderful day, guys. Like, subscribe, and share.